are in the aft cabin again. This is the place with access to the fuel tank and a few other things. Now that the berth is empty, this is probably a best time to try to look underneath this panel and see what's there. It's all attached with screws. So I'm going to open up all the screws and look under there. I know the tank is there, but I'd like to know the shape of the tank, how much room there is on the sides of the tank, because in the future I plan to run more tubing for more bilge pumps. So I want to know what kind of space we have in here to do anything. So let's open it up and take a look underneath. Tank. Message from the past. I guess the inspector. Okay. By Tommy, maybe? November 15th, 1988. Thank you. Cool. Little time capsule. So it looks like the tank is shaped to fit the hull. It's bigger. Over here it gets smaller. Thinner, I should say, or less deep, shallower. You can see from the back of the engine, the stuffing box, control cables, and the tank fills. Fill in the vent, I would say. So what I've learned is that the tank is very shiny on top. There's really not any space to run tubing on the port side of the tank, but there is on the center area of the tank. I've learned that the area around it is very dirty, and I have to try to figure out a way to inspect the bottom of the tank too. So this is the water heater. It's a Seaward water heater. They're pretty good. I mean, there's surface rust on this, on the cover. Don't let that fool you. They're a pretty good established brand. This works off of both shore power, AC power, and the engine heating system. So I shouldn't say system. Basically, hot water that goes through or comes from the engine on its way back out to be cooled passes through this, so transferring heat from the engine cooling water to the domestic water. So the problem here is, this is something the surveyor found that said we had to straighten out. So right now we're just going to open up the cover and take a look inside and see what we find. Insulation. What do you know? Okay. I don't like this one bit. No clamp? I would expect there to be a clamp. No clamp. Let's see. 3 wires. They've been taped up beyond belief by somebody. Okay. This has to be dealt with. to get a better view. So this I need to consult with the book. I will for now just put the cover back on it and continue to not use it. I use the, when I say not use it, I mean not use it through the electrical power. It works fine through the engine heating, engine hot water. So to give some perspective, when sitting at the helm, there are the engine gauges, which are right in front of this. The storage locker we were just looking in. There's the water heater. Here's the engine hours reader. You see it looks like an Ace wiring job. I don't know. So if it's a future project, some of the gauges don't work. Well, I mean some, pretty much all of them at some point don't work. Engine hours seems to work, that continues to change. But the tachometer doesn't work reliably, and the like oil pressure gauge doesn't work reliably, and the voltage charging amp meter. So that's a future project, has to be dealt with. Again, starting at the helm for location reference, over to our left in the seat is the propane locker. So it's part of the contour of the seat, the lid is. So here we have a gauge and a propane tank that fits the well nicely. I don't know the condition of the tank, so we're going to remove the tank. I'm going to take it home, I'm going to hook it to my grill at home, and I'm going to cook with it, and then fill it up to bring back to use around launch time. That way I'll know it's full when we start the season. It's an odd size, so when I go to get it filled, if the guy who fills them freaks out and refuses to do it, I'll just have to replace it with a new one if I can find one this size. And while the tank's out, we'll take the opportunity to clean the locker a bit. So after about 4 hours of charging, let's see how they test out now. And now just 5 days later, with no use in between, you can see that these batteries just don't hold a charge. Okay, this has been drying for a week. So let's turn down the water and give this thing a test. Okay, fingers crossed. That's the non-toxic antifreeze coming through. All right. I stick my hand in here and feel for leaks. Very scientific. I don't think you can see anything, but I am putting my hand all around the bottom and feeling for moisture. Feeling none. I'm going to figure out why that pump is... Oh, I know why the pump is running. I'm probably out of water. I didn't fill any in. It's trying to keep pressure up and it can't because there's not enough in the tank. So I'll need to shut the pump off. And we'll have to get some water for a more thorough test, but I'm happy to say that it looks good so far. Nothing brings you back to earth after a celebration like a deflated dinghy. Anyway, I thought I had taken care of the leaks in this. I thought changing the valves would take care of the problem. Obviously it has not. That is sitting for 2 weeks. The diesel engine is located under the ladder on the way up to the cockpit. So let's take a look inside. I'll spare you the rest of that clip where I just bang into things. So we'll start at the oil filter. You move up, there is a strainer for the sump area that goes to the pump. There is the pump for the sump area. Over here on the left is the fuel pump, electric fuel pump. And just to its right is the Racor water separator and filter. And tucked away in here is the main fuel filter. Here is the raw water pump, fan belt, and that is the freshwater pump, I believe. The alternator is there. Here is the air intake. The filter inside has been changed, as has all the other filters that you see here today. And here's a look at the heat exchanger. It looks like that could use a real inspection. I also changed the antifreeze at the end of the season. I'm glad to see it hasn't all leaked out. So looking at the bunk for reference, here in this hatch, on this side of the motor, we can see the starter. And maybe we'll get some better looks at the heat exchanger, or at least a different angle.
Ew. Yuck. Oh. I have to clean that out.
So with no water in the water tank, I took this out to the spigot out on the, up by the dock. It's not very clean, but it's a lot cleaner than it was. But the only way I could reach the spigot, I had the water facing right at me, so I was getting soaked. My legs all wet from my hip all the way down to my toe. My shoes are wet, so that's going to be good enough for now. Now that I know this thing exists, it'll become a regular maintenance item. So, and it's easy to clean. And if I had water in the sink, it'd be very easy to clean. There it goes. It's very nice and easy. I have the same sort of thing. Where'd it go? Right there. That's on the freshwater. No, that's on the bilge pump, that one. So the bilge pump and the one I was just showing was the shower sump pump. So those are both basically just to get all the hair and whatever junk out of the water before it hits the pump. Same thing with the bilge pump. Any little bits of whatever that end up in there could get pumped up in the water, get caught by the strainer. Good news, the boom is back. That end piece is newly welded and ready to go. It was $800 to get that fixed. Also, had to put new lines in the boom. Those are lines that control the sails, reefing, etc. To buy that line and to get it into the mast was another $200. I still have to replace that nut there. It's in bad shape. An expensive project for the spring, but we can mark it as done. Please consider clicking on the subscribe button below and leave a comment. And enjoy your spring.